Back to the daily grind, and y'all know we gotta talk about this. But before we do, make sure you hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
It is official. Dana White official. El Jefe has confirmed that Conor McGregor will be stripped. We already knew he confirmed Conor will be stripped, but he's confirmed the exact date and time. So Super Cash and Conor McGregor haters around the world, set your watches for the main event of UFC 223, because Dana White has came out and told the LA Times that as soon as a punch is thrown, it's on for the full title, and it's only fair. They've both worked their way up to the number 1 and number 2. They deserve a shot. He said that's exactly right. So that's what's going to happen. There was a lot of speculation after Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson was announced for the official lightweight title, but Conor McGregor hasn't been stripped yet. So people are wondering, how the hell is that going to work? When's Conor going to be stripped? It only makes sense that he is stripped, but when? And if he is stripped, what's Conor's recourse going to be? All of that, nonsense. So now we know the date and time, and it makes a lot of sense. It actually makes the most sense out of everything we've heard. We've heard speculation that the UFC would strip Conor McGregor the week of UFC 223, but now it's going to be the minute of the Tony Ferguson Khabib fight, and think about it, it makes the most sense. Now it's got everybody on edge, anticipating the second one punch is thrown during already a highly anticipated fight. Now we're all waiting for Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov because it's an amazing fight, and the second one punch gets thrown, Conor's stripped. For whatever that means. I mean, he's still going to be the champ to a lot of people because he was the first UFC fighter to hold 2 belts at the same time. So whenever he did that and achieved that moment in history, he became the champ. He actually trademarked that shit, champ, because he's always going to call himself and be known as the champ to a lot of people, as he's been saying recently in his Instagram post as of 2 days ago. If you guys thought Conor McGregor was going to stop calling himself the champ after he gets stripped of the lightweight title, you're crazy. If that was the case, he would have stopped after he got stripped of the first title. He's only got 1 title right now, and he's still walking around talking about champ. So Conor McGregor's always going to be the champ regardless of getting stripped of this belt. He's going to go down in history as the champ, honestly, because he was the first in history to do that. Now we've got Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic, possibly Amanda Nunes versus Chris Cyborg, and a lot of other champions that are being allowed to move up to other divisions and fight for a second title. But Conor was the first, and with that being said, it's also has been reported that talks have began for Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather 2 in boxing, not UFC, because Floyd Mayweather's not fucking that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if Conor was a chick, Alright, let me just fucking around. But with that being said, though, for real, it's looking like we might see McGregor versus Mayweather 2 in the boxing match. And if we're ever going to see Conor back in the UFC, it might be for the Nate trilogy. Nothing other than that. Don't hold out for Conor versus Khabib. Don't hold out for Conor versus Ferguson. Conor versus Khabib in Russia sounds good, but I just don't see that happening for Conor when he's got a $100 million fight on the table with Floyd Mayweather, or a $50 million trilogy fight with Nate Diaz lined up, or just anything else Conor McGregor could be doing rather than getting ragdolled by Khabib Nurmagomedov, which is what he's been doing to all of his recent opponents, high-level opponents in Michael Johnson and now Edson Barboza. Now he's going to fight Tony Ferguson, who plans on welcoming Khabib's takedowns. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are talking about Khabib time, Khabib champ, and nobody talk about Tony time. So, I mean, this is going to be a dope fight, but even though nobody talk about Tony time, don't get it fucked up. Tony Ferguson is the champion right now, and as soon as one punch is thrown, that means Tony Ferguson will be the champion. Hold on, that just made me think about that for a second. So that means if Conor was stripped right now, Tony Ferguson would be the undisputed lightweight champion. That means, does Tony Ferguson, let's say he loses the fight to Khabib, in the second round, does that mean he was the undisputed champion for 5 minutes? Because as soon as one punch is thrown, Conor gets stripped. As soon as Conor becomes stripped, Tony becomes the undisputed champion. Now, if Khabib beats Tony, he becomes the undisputed champion. But in order for Khabib to become the champion, he had to beat Tony Ferguson. who was the champion for all of like what, one round. If Khabib beats Tony in the second round, Tony Ferguson was literally the UFC champion for one round, because they're not stripping Conor until one punch is thrown. So that's very interesting. Tony Ferguson might be getting played a little bit when you think about it like that, like, because if any other champion, if they would have been stripped by now, Tony Ferguson would be, you know, in the books as a UFC undisputed champion, not an interim champion, undisputed. But as of right now, the way this contract and the way this is playing out, with Conor not being stripped until a punch is thrown, I don't even know if that's going to count for Tony Ferguson ever being an undisputed lightweight champion if he loses to Khabib in this fight. Now, a lot of hardcore fans are going to know the work Tony Ferguson's put in, 10-11 fight win streak, became the interim champion when Conor McGregor had the division somewhat held hostage, so he should very well be the undisputed lightweight champion. But the way that the contracts keep looking, Tony Ferguson might go down as an interim champion. I don't know. That's very interesting. Just thought about that. But with that being said, it is what it is. Let the Full Time family know what you think in the comments. And in about 20 minutes, I'm going live, doing a late night live stream, Bellator results, a lot of news. Conor's going to be stripped. A lot of stuff to talk about. So I'll see you guys then. Let the Full Time family know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.